What is going on, guys? It is Blink here, back with a new guide. So in this guide, we'll be talking about the C4 and how it can be used to your advantage. Also, the V-Bucks giveaway is still going on, so make sure to visit the link in the description to enter. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications as I post an Amazon gift card in the comments every time I upload. By turning on notifications, you'll have a way better chance of getting here first and redeeming that code. Anyways, guys, let's get to this guide. The C4 hasn't really been used at all, and since they buffed it twice, they really wanted players to use it. So, the buffs they made about the C4 are that you're able to throw it and detonate them as you're running, and the radius on the C4 has been increased. You can basically explode a whole house with just one of them. It's actually pretty insane. Now, since they buffed the C4 twice, it was something I thought about actually trying out, and it's actually pretty good. I've been using the C4 pretty often now and it's been super useful. You can easily destroy chunks of materials with just one C4. So let me show you guys a few examples on why it's actually pretty useful. Now in this first example, there was a building fight going on. I threw two C4s down in the approximate area my opponent was and put on some damage the moment he was exposed. He then tried building up and threw down two more C4s, and once again the moment he was exposed I took shots. He got right back into cover, but a simple C4 again cleared out the area and I was able to challenge him without him hiding. It's just super good to clear out massive areas of materials your opponents can be hiding in. You'll usually heal around a pile of materials, but it's pretty hard to do when your opponent's got C4s. So in this next example, I was pushing up on two players fighting, threw down a few C4s as they were fighting and got off a kill. Plus, I cleared out the whole area, which gave me a full visual on the last opponent. I was able to kill off the first player with the C4 and got a few shots on the second player. He had nowhere to hide except his own 1x1, so I was able to pinpoint his exact spot and easily replace his wall with mine. I could have exploded his 1x1 to expose him if I really needed to. For example, this player was hiding inside a 1x1, I threw a C4 down and his whole structure disintegrated. And the moment his structure exploded, I started taking shots even when I couldn't see my opponent yet. The reason I instantly took shots was because it would have took my opponent a few seconds to figure out what just happened. Now, if he started building new structures, you're guaranteed to put on some critical damage or even get the elimination because he's got to build a new set of materials. And the more you spam, the harder it's going to be to build up that support. Now, one of my favorite times to use a C4 is when your opponent's right across from you inside a 1x1. Although without that C4, the fight will potentially turn out into a build battle because of how close you guys are. With my C4, once again, I threw it down and detonated it and just deleted all my opponent's materials. Once he hits the ground, I kept my spray going even when he tries to rebuild. Decided to throw down another C4 and got a pretty easy elimination. Now, if you've done damage to your opponent with the C4, you usually do around 70 damage is what I've been noticing. So basically, opponent damage with the C4 does 70, which isn't that bad at all. I want to explain on when it's risky to use a C4. Now, since they buffed the range, you have to watch out how close you throw it in build battles. You can see I threw the C4 at a pretty risky height, which collapsed the whole structure, and we were both in risk of falling to our deaths. I got lucky enough to place down a staircase to avoid death, but my opponent wasn't so lucky. So as you guys can see, you have to be careful when you're throwing down the C4s. Scan your structures around you before you throw down the C4. Just make sure you're not destroying your only support line. So, in this last example, I'll show you guys what I mean. I ended up fighting a 1v2 and threw down a C4 over this opponent. I had a staircase support to my left, and the player was at a distance where I wasn't in much of a risk. Dropped him down and he was fully exposed. I never took any damage because I threw the C4 at a safer range. Now, this next player tried staircasing it up. When players are trying to staircase it up, that's when you'll want to throw your C4 down the most. Any sort of double staircase or just any staircase up, that's when you chuck the C4 over because you'll usually never be in range to take damage as you'll most likely be at a farther distance. So overall, the C4 is absolutely insane depending on how well you can use it. It can be a pretty good meta to use, and I'll even update this guide in the future depending on what else I can figure out. So guys, that's it for this guide. Hopefully these tips can help some people out, and a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated as it does help me out a lot. Anyways guys, thanks for watching and hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you on the next one.